UFC 264. It is heading to Las Vegas in the T-Mobile Arena. Okay, that around like the main event, the co-main event is going to start around 10 p.m. The co-main event is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Gilbert Burns. That's going to be a good fight. I'm definitely checking that one out. But let's get to the main event. We're talking about the notorious Conor McGregor versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. This is going to be one of the most anticipated fights of the year. Okay. And there are some reasons for that. Number one, there are a lot of Conor McGregor fans out there in the world. And a lot of Conor McGregor fans are going to tune into this fight to see Conor McGregor get their revenge. That's number one. Number two, the trash talking to this fight compared to the second fight, it ain't the same atmosphere, okay? The second fight, they were very respectful. It looked like they almost wanted to hug each other. Now it's not that same thing. Conor McGregor, I've heard the interviews. He wants to put Dustin Poirier on a stretcher. That's his prediction. He wants to take his head off and put it in the bleachers. He wants to put holes in it. Simple as that. Conor McGregor is looking for blood. Same thing with Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is looking for the same thing. Now, let me get to a little bit on the fight. So the first fight, let's talk about the first fight first. Conor McGregor TKOs Dustin Poirier and makes light work out of him. Second fight, years later, Dustin Poirier delivers it back to Conor McGregor. Now, I'm looking at it, and we got to go. And in order to make a good prediction, I feel like we have to go to the second fight. Okay, that's what I feel like we got to do. In the second fight, Dustin Poirier, the calf kicks were really affecting Conor McGregor. Okay, and it was getting to the point where his leg was shattered to the point where he couldn't move. Okay, Conor McGregor could not move. His movement was very limited, and not only that, you can't get a lot of power out of those hands if you can't use your legs. A lot of your power comes from your legs, and you can't get that power if your leg is basically bashed. So Conor was basically a standing target once his calf was destroyed. He was a standing target. It's as simple as that. I think that Conor McGregor will be prepared for these calf kicks. Okay, I think that is something that he is definitely going to be prepared for. A lot of Dustin Poirier fans are like, he might try to wrestle him to the ground. I think Conor McGregor will be prepared for that. I do, and here's why I say this. Okay, and I'm gonna go back to the Khabib fight with Conor McGregor. So when Conor McGregor fought Khabib in the early rounds, he was definitely prepared for that wrestling. It's just Khabib is an insanely fantastic wrestler. But if you look, even when he was taken down, he was again. Not when he was getting mauled. I'm not talking about when he was getting mauled and Dominic Cruz was like Conor McGregor is making Khabib waste his energy. That wasn't what was happening. Conor McGregor was getting mauled on that ground. I'm talking about early on in the fight. Conor McGregor, early on in the fight, was his takedown defense wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. When he was on the ground in the beginning rounds, he didn't take a lot of damage. He wasn't wasting a lot of energy. It was towards those later rounds where Khabib started mauling on him. Now, I look at this whole thing with Dustin Poirier, and I think he will attempt a takedown. Do I think he could land one? Absolutely. But I think Conor McGregor will be prepared to wrestle with Dustin Poirier. Okay, I really do think that is the case. I'm going to be honest. Now, I've listened very closely to what both guys are saying. Okay, I've heard all the trash talk that Conor McGregor has been saying, talk about he's going to knock his head on the bleachers. We know what Conor McGregor is expecting, a knockout. Okay, Conor McGregor said, in my MMA career, I am 19-1. The only loss I have was the TKO against Dustin Poirier. He said those tap outs, they don't mean anything. Do I agree with that? No. Obviously, if you tap out, you lost. Anyway, in the UFC, you lose. It's as simple as that. Okay, but that's Conor's prediction. Dustin, Megan O'Leary asked him, how do you see yourself winning this fight? And he said a submission. He said, I could see myself submitting this guy. I could see it. And it's an interesting prediction what he's him saying that. And the reason why is because it could very well happen. If that's your best chance of beating Conor McGregor is making him tap out. Simple as that. Okay, now a lot of people are like, well, Mario, he TKO'd him once. Why can't he do it again? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying your best chance is to get Conor McGregor on that ground and submit him. That's your best chance. But I think he will be prepared to wrestle with him. I don't think this is going to be an easy task for Dustin Poirier. I don't think wrestling Conor McGregor, I don't think that's going to be an easy task this fight. Something tells me it's not going to be that way. Something also tells me that regardless of both of them saying finish, I do think this is going to go to distance. I think all you UFC fans out there, I think this is going to be very similar to the Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier fight, the second one, where they're just in the middle of the octagon, just throwing bombs at each other. That's what I think this is going to be. Simple. That's why I truly think this fight's going to be right here. I think the third fight is going to end on fireworks. Simple as that. It could be a candidate for fight of the year. All right. Now, one thing about Conor McGregor that I feel like really did hurt him in previous fights is inactivity. We'll go back to the part where he ends up fighting Floyd Mayweather. He takes about probably over a year out of MMA, ends up fighting Khabib. He takes a couple years out of a few years away from that after the Khabib fight, fights Cerrone. Takes a couple years after that and ends up fighting Poirier. I think Conor McGregor is going to stay active. Okay. He wants to win that lightweight belt again. And he said, my greatest performance in my fighting career was when I defeated Eddie Alvarez to become double champ. He said, this performance is going to top it. I think so, but I don't think it's going to be the reasons he expects. I don't think it's going to be him not knocking Dustin out. Dustin's got a good chin. That's going to be real. And I know Conor's got power, but Dustin has a very, very good chin. Okay. Could it happen? Absolutely. I think this is going to be a firework of a fight. These are going to produce fireworks. Okay. Now, personally, now going to my prediction, I think if it goes the distance, this is surprising. I think I'm going to go Conor. If it goes the distance, I think it's going Conor. And the reason why I say that is because A, this is Conor McGregor. Okay. B, I feel like Dustin Poirier, has to finish Conor McGregor. Okay. Because again, I'm not saying the judges are going to rig it or anything like that. I think this is going to be a very close fight. But I think if this goes the distance, I think they're going to go with Conor. I truly believe that. But I do expect a lot of damage to be done in this fight. I think both of them are going to throw bombs. Hell, maybe somebody might get knocked down. You never know. Maybe both of them might get knocked down. You never know. But I truly think this is probably going to go the distance. And a lot of people are going to be like, "That no way. This is going to definitely be a knockout, whether it's Conor McGregor or it's going to be submission, whether it's Poirier or whatever the case, but it's definitely going to get finished." I can't see it. I cannot see it. Let me explain why. Dustin Poirier had a good strategy second fight. He said, get the calf, okay, break the calf, and then obviously Conor McGregor is limited. If Conor McGregor is checking those calf kicks, which I think he will be prepared for, if he ends up checking those calf kicks, you can't really limit Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor got TKO'd last time, in my opinion, because that calf was bashed and he was a standing target. If he's not a standing target, I don't expect Conor McGregor to end up getting TKO'd. Okay, I don't expect him to make the same mistake he did against Nate Diaz in the first fight, where he got rocked and he ended up attempting a takedown and Diaz ended up capitalizing. I do not expect that to happen. What I expect is an absolute brawl between these two, and I expect it to go toward a distance or whatever it might be. And I think Conor McGregor wins if it goes decision. I think this is going to be a great fight. I think this is a potential fight of the year. That's my opinion right there. Now, whoever wins, I think is definitely getting a title shot at Charles Oliveira. I think that's definitely happening. Whoever loses. Now, here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna go to the scenarios, the different scenarios. If Dustin Poirier wins, he gets the title shot with Charles Oliveira. Which, by the way, I think Dustin should have had a title shot. I think Dustin should have had a title shot before Michael Chandler, in my opinion. But he decided to take Conor McGregor, the fight with Conor McGregor, which I think is very, very smart because Conor McGregor is the cash cow of the UFC. There's not a single fighter that produces more cash in the UFC than Conor McGregor. Okay. So Dustin Poirier, the two fights, the second fight and the third fight with Conor McGregor, he's going to get a big, big payday. Simple as that. And if he beats Conor McGregor, then he gets a title shot. And then after that, then so be it. We'll see what happens there. If Dustin Poirier loses, I think the fight to make right there is him versus Michael Chandler. I think that's going to be a great fight. If Dustin Poirier loses, I think Michael Chandler versus Dustin Poirier is going to be a great fight. Now, let's go to Conor. If Conor wins, he's going to get that title shot too, Oliveira. That's going to be a very tricky fight, for Conor McGregor. Oliveira is a very good fighter. But if he loses, I think Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz go number 3. That's my opinion right there. But overall, I'm probably going to go with Conor by decision. I know what a lot of people say. Conor gasses out, That's something he really does. And he hasn't gone 5 rounds since the Nate Diaz fight. I understand that. But I can't see Dustin winning any other way besides a finish. I can't see that. If Dustin wins, it's going to be by a finish. But I can't see Conor. Both of them have great chins. Both of them have great power. Somebody could get TKO'd. You're absolutely right. But I just see it as being an absolute bomb fest. Simple as that. I see it being an absolute bomb fest. Now, I saw the press conference and I heard the trash talking. I got to admit, I was pretty entertained by it. He took the hot sauce and he threw it in the crowd just to insult Dustin Poirier. They were doing the face-off and Conor McGregor threw a kick. Kind of gave me flashbacks to when he did the same thing with Khabib. Then there was the line where Dustin Poirier said, McGregor fast, more like McGregor sleep. And that was a good line too. I got to admit, I think even Conor, that was a good line because he didn't say nothing after. But overall, trash talking, it doesn't matter. Everything that's going on, it does not matter. What matters is the night of the fight. It's as simple as that. So I personally think that if this goes the distance, I think Conor McGregor's winning that. I think the only way Dustin has a chance of winning is probably the best way is probably submitting him or TKO. It's simple as that. Me, I'm probably gonna go with you could TKO him. It's gonna be kind of hard because obviously Conor McGregor, we're not used to seeing that. Obviously, last fight happened, but before last fight, when again we never really see Conor McGregor get TKO or knocked out. Most likely, your best chance of beating Conor McGregor is through submission. That's the way Dustin Poirier can do it. I think this is gonna go a full 5 rounds. This is gonna be a bomb fest. But you know what? With that being said, best of luck to both fighters. We'll see what happens. The fight is going to be Saturday. The main event should start around like 10 p.m. So make sure you guys go check that out on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. It's going to be in Las Vegas, and I can't wait to see this fight. UFC 264. Go check it out.